Welcome back to the channel. eXp is on our horizon today. So hopefully you're ready. Let me just make sure that the audio is working okay. If you can hear me okay, let me know in the chat. It's going to help me out tremendously. And then we're going to get right into it. Right here. Awesome. All right, so eXp explained. We're going to go into the 12 things you absolutely need to know about eXp Realty. Now, it's designed to cover all of the questions that I've gotten about eXp. I've spoken over 1,000 agents personally on a one-to-one level about eXp. So I'm one of the fastest growing groups at eXp at the moment because of everything that we do for our agents in terms of editing, in terms of lead generation, mentorship, guidance, coaching, resources, and everything. So I have a good understanding of what's going on with eXp from all the agents that join every single day. So it allows me to really answer questions that I've never could have even imagined. So we've brought in brokerages, teams, individual agents, and everything in between. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. So eXp Realty Explained, I want you to watch this before you make another, before you make your decision, your final decision of joining eXp or not joining eXp. I want to do this to be fair to your business and also to the opportunity that's at your fingertips. So let's get right into it. The history of eXp. It was founded in 2009 by Glenn Sanford, and quickly you can see how fast it's grown. So you've seen that in 2012, so 3 short years later, it's already in another country. That's pretty impressive, right? And then 3 short years after that, there's an event that happened in 2015 where eXp launches the Agent Equity and Icon Agent programs, which is huge. And I'll explain the meaning of that here shortly and what that even means for us. But moving from 2009 to 2019, you see that in 9 short years, eXp has achieved a 50-state expansion, meaning that it has done business and is doing business in all 50 states. And that's the same till present day. At this point, eXp has we're going to accelerate through this, and you actually can't see the 2022 numbers. But in 2022, it has over 75,000 agents and is in over 20 countries. So that is explosive growth, just incredible growth. In less than 15 years, it's been able to get into all of the states. It's been able to be very, very close. Here, it's about to reach 100,000 subscribers in very short order by the end of 2022. And it's all been able in less than 15 years, it's been able to achieve that milestone. So this is a very, very accelerated timeline of events in terms of the history. But I want this to be the most meaningful presentation, the most impactful presentation. I don't believe in beating around the bush when it comes to just all of this sizzle, all of this other stuff, just very vague platitudes that you see with a lot of presentations out there. I'd much rather just give you the facts and allow you to make your decision. Is this something that you want to pursue? And if so, we can address it at that time. And if not, you at least have all the meaningful information and there's no bait and switch. All right, so what is eXp? eXp Realty is the first cloud-based brokerage. So it's the first cloud-based brokerage of its time. So it has removed the brick and mortar, very similar to what Netflix has done to or did to Blockbuster, is what eXp Realty is going to do to the brick and mortar locations now. It allows agents to become true owners and shareholders. So now, which this is a great movement, now you actually see some eXp competitors out there that are attempting to replicate the model because of the success that eXp has achieved. And this is actually a great trend. Competition is healthy. I welcome it and I thrive with that, because now agents are being placed first. At the in the previous way of doing business, it was, well, I need as many agents as possible so as to bring the business up, if you will, or bring the wealth up. But now it's been more it's been more distributed to where agents are owners, are shareholders, are vested in the company itself. Now, eXp Realty is not a franchise. We're one single owned brokerage, so there's no franchise fees, there's no desk fees to speak of. It's one singular company, and one singular company has over 1,000 staffers to help the agents. So they're all in one central location, which is our cloud-based brokerage. So you'll actually see what it looks like here shortly, which will allow you to get questions answered very, very quickly. So we have our onboarding department, technology department, well, you actually see it. So I won't spend too much time here, but one of the things that comes up, especially for those agents that are just hearing about eXp Realty for the first time, and if that's you, welcome, I'm glad you're at the right place, is the distinction between local brick and mortar locations. So there's, whenever an agent is, either being courted by Century 21, Remax, Keller Williams, all the brokerages out there, there is the brick and mortar component that you can go to an office here, go to the office over there, and have the brick and mortar location. And there's that familiarity that drives agents to those particular locations, but they're not aware that each one of those locations is a franchise. The franchise owner is different. Now, even though the Keller Williams logo may be on the front of the door, on the top of the door, the one across the city, it's a different owner. So different culture, different. I understand that you expect a homogeneous culture, but with franchises, it's challenging to achieve that because franchise owners are the ones that are most local, or the ones that are in proximity to agents 100% of the time, as opposed to the corporate office. So sometimes you see some very high functioning franchisees, and this is across the board, not just KW, by the way, high functioning franchises in a particular geography, and in another geography there's less than stellar leadership, if you will. But when it comes to brick and mortar locations, the reason that you see brick and mortar locations that are eXp Realty locations is because it's generally a former brokerage or generally a former team that ended up joining eXp later, meaning they were a brokerage from another brokerage and then joined eXp. And that's why you see, more often than not, that's why you see brick and mortar locations from with an eXp Realty banner. So it's not that it's a corporate owned brick and mortar location. It's actually an agent that was at one point either a broker, or a broker that was at one point another brokerage, or a team leader that brought their entire team over. So generally you'll see that. On rare occasions you will find team leaders that are eXp and then they go into a brick and mortar location, but that's not all that common. In fact, most team owners or team leaders or broker owners that end up joining eXp, they can't wait for the commercial leases to run out so they don't have to continue paying for that lease. They'd much rather not have to spend $5,000, $15,000, $30,000, however much they're paying month per month to hold that office. Now, presently, we're at over 78,000 agents, as mentioned previously. And eXp Realty, lean in here real quick, eXp Realty does not do property management. Now, that may change in the future, and if it does, I'll update this video, but it doesn't do any proper property management at the moment. So it doesn't mean that you can't do property management altogether. It just means that you can't do property management within the brokerage. So you would have to do the property management in another brokerage so that book of business could stay at another brokerage. But as far as the sales and helping buyers buy and helping sellers sell and putting people into leases, just not managing those leases, putting people into leases, you can do that at eXp all day long. So there are some very successful property managers out there that have kept their property management business at another brokerage, including their own brokerage. But when it comes to doing the sales aspect, it has to be run through eXp. So no property management from eXp, but you are still able to do property management, except that book of business has to be external. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, I used to own a property management company myself. I have since sold that off, but we had about 125 doors. By the time that I joined, it wasn't necessarily a big concern of mine because I'd already sold the business, but I could have continued doing the property management just with a different broker. Commission. So the third thing we really, and notice that we are going straight into it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down below. Again, I want to get the information into your hands as quickly as possible. So we're going straight into it. Commissions. The commission split at eXp is 80-20. 80% for you, 20% for the brokerage. The cap is $16,000, meaning that once the brokerage has received $16,000, after that, you go to 100% commission. So every time you make a sale, it's 80% for you, 20% for the brokerage. The moment that 20% ends up adding up to $16,000 in that 1 year, then you go to a 100% commission. So your years, depending on when you join the company, it's not a January to December type of a deal. It's when you join eXp Realty. So it's 80-20 on all the transactions up until you cap of $16,000. Then you go to 100% commission for the remainder of your anniversary year. After you do that, after you go to 100% commission, there is a transaction fee that kicks into play, which is $250. That's what you're seeing at the bottom left-hand side, $200 cap transaction fee. That means that after you cap, then you are paying $250 per file per transaction, which that even has a cap at $5,000, and then your transaction fee goes down to $75. So that's from the commission and fee per transaction, and that lets you know, or the commission and the split side. So just to give you some numbers, if you were to sell 2.66 million in sales volume, assuming that you charge your clients 3%, that means that you have capped. So for those of you that are more accustomed to hearing it from a sales volume standpoint, if you sell 2.66 million in sales volume and you're charging your clients 3%, that means that you have capped at eXp. Anything above and beyond that, you're receiving 100% commission. Mine is the transaction fee, right? So one quick note there is either you're on the split or you're on the transaction fee. You're not paying both. All right, the standard cost is $149 for a startup, and this does vary country by country. But when it comes to the startup cost, it's $149 startup fee. $85 a month is your monthly fee at eXp. Your broker review is $25 per file. So every transaction will be reviewed by your broker, and it's going to be $25. And your E&O, or your risk management fee, is $40, which does cap at $500. Meaning you're not paying your risk management or your E&O ahead of time like several brokerages out there. You're paying as transactions happen. So all that to say is there's 4 fees to consider when you're doing business at eXp. Your monthly fee of $85, that's going to be there regardless. So regardless if you have 10 transactions or 0 transactions that month, it's $85 a month. The next 3 expenses, or the next 3 charges or fees, are dependent on a transaction happening. And one of those is a big one, which is the commission split. So we talked about the commission split being 80-20. So 20% goes to the brokerage. And then you're paying $25 for broker review and then paying $40 for E&O. So that's the best way to think about it. There's 4 expenses. One is your monthly, $85 a month, the commission split, the broker review, and then the risk management, right? So just giving you a heads up on that. All right, so talking about fees. So the fees in terms of like true fees, if I didn't include the broker review or the risk management fee in this particular slide. I probably will in the future, but I just want you to see in terms of the fee that you can count on, which is $85 a month. That's going to be there come heck or high water. But I also wanted to show you more of some miscellaneous fees that are actually in your favor. So as far as personal transactions, you can sell 3 transactions every single year, and they can for yourself, meaning if you buy a property or if you sell a property for yourself, your name is on the title, your name is on the transaction, you get 3 personal transactions every single year, and you're only paying $250. So this means that if you haven't capped and you're paying that 80-20 split on the transactions, on your personal transactions, you actually don't have to pay a split. All the other brokerages charge you a split. All the other brokerages, even if it's your house that you're buying or the house that you're selling, you are paying the full ticket price. You're either paying the 20% split, the 30% split, whatever it is that you are, whatever the split happens to be on. Even on your personal transactions, you're paying. At eXp, that's not the case. It's $250. Now, the reason I put friends and family, it's basically the minimum company dollar is what's going to be charged. So you can charge whatever you want for your business, if you will. So let's just say you wanted to sell your friend's house or your family's house at cost. Well, at cost for you is $500. That's the minimum company dollar. Now, this is if you wanted to sell a house and you wanted to absolutely sell it for nothing, or for you, if you will. As long as eXp receives the minimum company dollars of $500, you're good to sell it. Now, you will have to pay for the broker review and you will have to pay for the risk management fee. So it ends up being $565 total. But as far as the transaction in and of itself, you don't have to pay the split. You don't have to do any of that. You can charge whatever you want. But as long as it has the minimum company dollar, that's what we're talking about. Right? So let me know if you have any questions on that. But you do have the flexibility of charging whatever it is that you want, whether that's if you're charging 5%, 4%, 3%, 2%, whatever you charge, you have the flexibility and the latitude to do so at eXp. All right, so let me know if you have any questions down below. I generally get the most amount of questions with commissions and fees, but we got to keep going. And now we're going to cover the equity component. The equity component is super interesting because this is something that brokerages up until eXp didn't have. Now you're starting to see brokerages go public. Now you're starting to see companies consider going public so as to reward their agents from an equity standpoint. So this is a movement, this is a trend that eXp created, which is great. Again, it goes back to that previous point of me welcoming competition, because that means that you as a real estate agent, you're winning. You have more options now. You are able to grow your business, not only from the sales component, but also from a wealth building opportunity, which is the equity component. So now if you go to NASDAQ, you're going to see our stock EXPI. eXp World Holdings is our ticker symbol. So you're receiving actual ownership in that stock. And it's really doing what you're doing already. It's selling homes. You're doing that already for another brokerage. It just so happens that if you're on a great split, you're happy. If you're not on a great split, you're not happy. But you're selling all this real estate out there anyway. But if you were to do that at eXp, you're actually receiving a better split oftentimes, and you're receiving equity. You're receiving ownership. That's something that your mom and pop brokerages cannot do. That's something that the big box brokerages cannot do and are not doing. Here, it's a little bit different. So there's 5 ways that you earn stock. The first one is every time you make your first transaction, every year you receive stock. It's $200 worth of stock for your first transaction every single year. When you cap at eXp, remember our cap is $16,000, you receive $400 in stock. This is in addition to, this is not taken away from you. This is in addition to. Now, when you sponsor an agent and they close their first transaction at eXp, you receive $400 of stock as well. Now, this is a one-time thing. This is when they make their first transaction at eXp. It doesn't mean that they make their first transaction every single year at eXp. It's just their first transaction at eXp. Now, those high achievers, those in terms of high volume, those rainmakers, those absolute agents that are closing a lot of real estate, you can reach the icon agent award, the icon agent status, which what that looks like, it goes back to that timeline that you saw in 2015. This program was introduced. What that means is that after you cap, meaning capping is $16,000. So depending on your average sales price, let's just say it's a $266,000 average sales price in your market. Well, if you sell 10 of those transactions, 10 homes at that price or the average price of that, you will have capped. So after capping, however long it takes you, if you do 20 more transactions or have a GCI of $550,000 or above, it's either or. It's either have that GCI amount or have do 20 transactions after capping. You become an icon agent, and when you become an icon agent, you're eligible to receive $16,000 back in the form of stock. So keeping this simple, if you are on the average price point of $266,000, you sell 10 transactions, that means you cap. If you do 20 more transactions, that means you become an icon agent at eXp. And what that looks like for you for those 30 transactions means that now you have the original $16,000 that you paid into the company, that gets converted. That gets converted into stock for you. Now, there are some requirements that you need to fulfill in order to have all of that amount be returned to you in the form of stock, but there are requirements. Those are things that you're going to happily do in order to receive this amount of return, because that $16,000 in stock, I can't make financial claims, nor will I, but that $16,000 stock, we know how the stock market works. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's diagonal. But let's just say in some cases, as eXp continues to rise and grow in count, the value of the company might increase. Again, it could. Depending on when you get the stock, you've seen when the eXp stock was in the penny stock and was less than $1, well, that's looking really, really good regardless of when you're watching this video. So just giving you a heads up on that. So that's the fourth way that you earn stock. And the fifth way that you can earn stock is you can purchase it using 5% of your commission, and you get all of that stock at a 10% discount. So you can use 5% of your commission to purchase stock at a 10% discount, which is pretty cool. And that is optional. You don't have to do it. A lot of agents do end up participating because they see that as a quote unquote retirement for in a way, but you don't have to do it. That's totally optional. Revenue share. So what we've covered is the commission split, and then we talked about the equity. So the commission split, a lot of agents understand that. Actually, most agents understand that, if not all, because that's how you get paid from sales. The equity, this might be brand new to you because you haven't been part of a company, and chances are you haven't. If this is your first time into eXp, you haven't been part of a company that gives you stock, right? Gives you equity. And those are 5 different ways that we talked about that you're receiving stock and equity into the company. Well, the third revenue stream is revenue share. So you can sponsor agents into eXp Realty, and you're receiving revenue share from their sales. Now, here's what's super cool is the split at eXp is 80-20. 80% for the agent, 20% for the broker. It's from that 20% that half of it goes into keeping the business running, keeping the brokerage going, and then the other 10% goes to the agents that helped grow the company, meaning those agents that sponsored agents into the company. So it's from that 20%, it's not from the 80% that goes to the agent, it's from that 20% that the entire revenue share program operates from. This means that the agents that you sponsor, they receive their full commission. 20% is where the revenue share component operates from. All right, so just one little caveat here just before I forget. When we're talking about the splits, it's 80-20 for agents that have closed at least 3 transactions in the last 12 months. So 80-20 for those agents that have closed at least 3 transactions in the previous 12 months. If you're a brand new agent or haven't had that production, meaning if you haven't closed 3 transactions in the last 12 months, then you're going to go into the mentor-mentee program, which is a 60-40 split for the first 3 transactions. After that, you go to an 80-20 split. Just want to make sure that I mention that so as to be thorough, and I failed to address that on the commission side. So I wanted to make sure that I included it here. But when it comes to the revenue share component, as you sponsor agents and they sponsor agents, as you see things cascading here, you have the opportunity of earning revenue. So if an agent that you sponsor goes on to close a $10,000 commission, you receive 3.5% of that $10,000 commission, which comes out to $350. Anything that's closed on the month that you're in will get paid on the following month. So as of this recording, it's the month of March. Well, we'll get paid on all the activity that's been done in March by agents that we sponsored. We'll get paid on that in April. Right? So it's not wait till the end of the year. This is not a profit share model like KW operates. This is a revenue share model. This means off the top. It's not after expenses are paid. In some cases, there's no profit from the KW side. One of the big limitations is that in some cases, there is no profit. So there's nothing to share. But with here, it's the revenue share off the top. So this continues going down up to 7 tiers. So if you sponsor an agent and they sponsor another agent and they sponsor another agent, then you have the opportunity of earning revenue share from those as well, up to 7 levels. Now, I have a full video explaining the frontline, exponential, and expansion share. So I'll link it down below. So we're not going to stop here because this explanation is going to be 40 minutes in and of itself. Just to understand that a third revenue stream is available to you if you choose to participate in it. And when it comes to the maximum potential share, just to give you an understanding of an agent that you sponsor on your first tier, meaning you personally sponsor those agents, each year, they can earn you up to $2,800. Agents that they sponsor, so they're on your tier 2, they can earn you up to $3,200 every single year. Agents that they sponsor, they can earn you $2,000 and so on and so forth, right? So you see that on tier 7, as the duplication happens and tier 7 gets achieved, well, you have an opportunity of earning $4,000 on each one of those agents as a cap. So that's huge. Right? So it's something to keep in mind. Now, we do have teams at eXp, and I want to go through a few of them right now. The first one that's not on the screen right now is actually the domestic partnership. So if you have a spouse in the business and both of you are licensed, and so you have a husband and wife team, you can have that here at eXp. It's called a domestic team. One of you will be paying the $85 a month regular fee. Your partner would be paying $50 for their fee. So it's $50 and $85 for the primary agent is what it's called at eXp. So the domestic partnership, don't think that you have to pay double fees, double everything like in other brokerages. You get a discount on the fees themselves. But when it comes to working towards one cap, that's exactly what you're doing. You're working towards one cap. You're working on one singular book of business. That's what a husband and wife team typically do. So that's the domestic partnership model. Now, as far as types of teams, you have a self-organized team, you have a standard team, and you have a mega icon team. The self-organized team does not require for you to have a certain amount of team members. The self-organized team does not require a minimum percentage owed to the team leader, and you don't need a written agreement. Now, the team roster, you do need to provide that to eXp, which will that's how they're gonna be able to track and help you track the agents as you're growing your business. But as far as a self-organized team, this is the one that gives you the most flexibility, the most bandwidth, but the most flexibility, so everyone can use the same branding, the same logos, the same resources, and all that comes with a self-organized team. And every agent can have a different commission split. There's no requirement. Now, a standard team, there are a few more requirements here. All the agents that are part of your standard team, they receive a half cap. So instead of a $16,000 cap, they pay $8,000 for the cap. Now, with the self-organized team, everyone is responsible for the full cap. Everyone's responsible for the full $16,000. With the standard team, it's a half cap. Another thing with the standard team is that there's a minimum referral percentage required to team leader. That means that all the agents that are part of your standard team, that are part of your team, they owe $25. I'm sorry, $25. 25% referral fee to you. So there is a minimum referral percentage that they owe you as a team leader if you happen to be a team leader, right? There's a team agreement that is required and does need to be approved by eXp, so that has to be provided. Same thing here, the team roster needs to be provided. And there is also a minimum required. So there's a minimum required of 6 million in sales volume and 30 closed transactions in the previous 12 months. So you can't just call yourself a standard team for the sake of calling yourself a standard team. There is requirements in place, and that's what you're seeing on the screen right now for the standard team. Now there's another level of teams, and I'll move over here real quick just to try to get out of the way. And that's the mega icon team. This is for the teams that are a little bit larger. So you have a reduced quarter cap. So instead of a half cap, now it's a quarter cap, which is $4,000 for your team members. You also do need a minimum referral percentage, which means that all of your team members, if you're the team leader, they are required to give you 25% minimum. The team agreement is still in play. You need to provide that, and the team roster is still in play, and that also needs to be required. As far as the actual production now, there is a minimum for $40 million in volume, 175 closed transactions, and there has to be 10 capping agents in the previous 12 months. That's the requirement for the mega icon team. So it has a lot of the same. Just so you see it, I'll move over here for a little bit longer, but there is a requirement very similar to what you're used to. Very similar to a standard team, except now we've made it a bit larger. All right. Almost closed out of the application there. All right. So that's the teams. Now let's talk about healthcare. At eXp, you have access to affordable healthcare. So what I tell all the agents that join, go to exphealthcare.com, book an appointment, and go over your options. We're not going to spend too much time here. Just understand that according to NAR, 28 to 33% of realtors are uninsured in any given year. That's a third of you. So I am personally on this. I am on this plan, and I've have knee problems and I have shoulder problems. In fact, right now it's just burning. So I'm getting all that checked out. It's affordable for me. Your plan will be different, not just because I have different needs than you. The only thing that I ask is that you give them a shot, which means that gives you an opportunity to shop out your healthcare and your healthcare insurance. If it's cheaper and you have better coverage, then why wouldn't you change? If it's not cheaper and if it doesn't have better coverage, then why would you change to it? So just be cognizant of that. You'll have access to another option, which in real estate is challenging to find, right? So we're business owners, we're entrepreneurs, but everything lands on us. Now, Regus, there's a big, for those agents that have the reservation of, I need my brick and mortar space. I need a physical place to go. I want to go to a physical location so as to get away from the house. I get you. I understand you. That is totally commendable. However, with eXp, you even get that. So not only do you get the benefit of the virtual world where you can log into the world and speak to any broker at any one point in time, speak to any executive that you want, speak to any of your peers very, very quickly. Well, you also have the opportunity of going to Regus co-working facilities, which they're all across the country, all across the world. They're the largest co-working facilities in the world, which they're all professional office settings. They have conference rooms, they have offices, they have common areas, they have reception areas, It's a professional environment. And Regus, you can go to Regus and be a member of Regus right now, but it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars to be a member. Well, with eXp, you get this as part of your $85 already. So you can go into any one of these Regus locations. I just put Dallas Fort Worth because that is where I reside. You can go to any one of these locations and have access to Regus, right? So a professional location. So you don't have to go to Starbucks and meet a client. You can go to Regus and go to the either reserve in a room or go to the common spaces, or if you want to pay a little bit extra, then rent out an office if you want a solely dedicated office to yourself. But as far as having access to these locations and going to the common spaces and working out of there, you absolutely can do that, which is already included in your fee. So you don't have to pay for that. The partners, there's so many partnerships now that there's actually 2 screens to this. So we talked about healthcare, we talked about other partners already, but I'll let you take a quick gander. We're not going to really explore many of these, but I just want you to know that we do have a title and escrow company partner. We do have a signage and branded collateral partner. So this means that you can get signs at a discount. We do partner with the CE shop. So a lot of you are going to need in fact, all of you will need continuing education. So you have access to that. Home warranty partner. So you can access a home warranty partnership through eXp. This has already been established. The best way that I can explain this is either your clients are saving money. Let me move myself. Either your clients are saving money with these partnerships, or you're saving money with these partnerships, or you're making money with these partnerships. So either your client is saving money, or you're saving money, or you're making money because there are some affiliates commissions here. So as an example, with your home warranty provider, if one of your clients gets a home warranty, then you get compensated for that purchase, right? So it's not going to retire you by any stretch of the imagination, but I believe it's $50 per home warranty, which is better than not having it, right? So it gives you an opportunity of maximizing that transaction. Here's some additional partners. So again, there's just so many partners that they can't all fit in one. You have virtual tours, you have currency exchange. So as an example, if you have foreign buyers that need to convert money into US dollars, well, you can receive a commission off of that currency exchange. That's cool, right? So you have earnest money deposits, so deposit link. You have the residential lending program, which is lending, so our in-house lending solution or partner. You have utility concierge or utility connect, which is for your moving services. So much awesomeness. There's a lot of partnerships here that you have access to. Now, again, these partners will either save your clients money, save you money. So as an example, the CE shop, you get a discount because you're an agent, eXp agent, or you're making money. As an example, currencies exchange. If your client uses currencies exchange, you get a referral commission. In some cases, given the size of the exchanges, sometimes it's hundreds of dollars per that transaction, which is awesome. Technology. Let's talk about technology because this is one of the questions that comes up quite a bit. eXp Enterprise is our business intelligence solution. This is where you go to see your sales volume. This is where you would go to find out how much stock you own. This is where you would go to see the production of the agents that you're sponsoring or your team members. This is your hub of your business. You don't have to email anybody. You don't have to, if you're curious on how you're doing with your sales, there's no calling somebody, texting somebody, emailing somebody, or any of that. You can log into eXp Enterprise and you get that real-time information. So you don't have to wait for somebody to run a report. You have a dashboard right in front of you. And there's a ton of other benefits to eXp Enterprise. Just understand that's your hub. That's where you would go to get some real-time information. Oh, I'll keep myself up here. SkySlope. This is where you go to submit your transactions. This is where you once you open a transaction for buying, for leasing, for selling, you get a checklist of all the documents that are required, and in many cases you get the links to those documents so you can get them executed. Once you get them executed, You upload them to SkySlope for them to get reviewed. Once they all get reviewed and you have all the documentation in order, your CDA or commission disbursement agreement gets issued out to you. And it varies state by state. So everyone has different practices in terms of who can get paid, if you can get paid directly as an agent. If not, it goes to the brokerage and then you get paid. In most cases, as I'm aware, if the state allows it for you to get paid directly from the title company, if your state happens to close within a title company, there's a lot of differences between states when it comes to if you're closing with title companies or with attorneys or what have you. Anyway, all that is standardized through SkySlope, meaning you get to upload all of your documents in one place, get reviewed, and then get approval. Workplace by Facebook. This is think of Facebook, but for work, hence the name. All of the workplace people in eXp Workplace, all of the people in eXp Workplace are eXp agents or eXp work for eXp. So you have real-time information, real-time access to your brokers, to the admin staff, to the technology people, to other agents. You can DM back and forth because everyone there is part of the brokerage. So you have access to that. And other communities. So you can have Facebook groups or meta groups where state by state groups. So you can go into your Texas state room or you can go to your Connecticut state room. So all of the agents there, you're able to connect with and start networking with and meet other agents that are part of the company as well. So you can start your networking right away. Your CRM and lead generation. Well, we already talked about the CRM. We'll talk about lead generation here shortly, but your CRM that you get access to as a part of you being part of eXp is KV Core. So KV Core, if you were to get it from off the shelf, if you will, it would cost you hundreds of dollars per month to get access to KV Core at eXp. It's already included in your $85 a month. So with your KV Core, it includes your website, your email autoresponder, text autoresponder, landing page generator, squeeze page generator, safe search generator. There's a lot of cool strategies that I'll make sure I link that video down below where I share with you how to actually generate business with KV Core. So you get access to that already. When it comes to branding and marketing, you get access to all of the listing presentations, all the buyer presentations, all the flyers, everything that you need to run your business and brand it in such a way to where it's professional, it's modern, it's good looking, and you can brand it to yourself, right? So you can put your information, you can put your image, you can really, without having to hire somebody to create these for you, you get access to it for already included in your fees. So you don't have to create anything. Now let's talk about sponsorship because that matters. At the end of the day, there's 4 things that can happen when you join eXp. And really, when you think about it, there's 4 things. You can join eXp and you receive nothing in terms of support. So the sponsorship that you receive, there is the option of whoever you select to be a sponsor, including eXp itself. You don't have to actually select a sponsor. You can select a sponsor that really provides you no support. So they'll just say, hey, figure it out. If you have a question, call me. There's a lot of sponsorship. I would say that 95+% of the agents that are that are part of eXp, that's how they operate. Hey, join eXp because it's the next best thing since sliced bread. If you have a question, let me know. But I'm really not gonna provide anything meaningful beyond the introduction to eXp. So there's that level of sponsorship. Now there's a higher level of sponsorship, which is the education sponsorship, meaning agents that take the sponsorship role a little bit more seriously because they recognize the value that they can provide to other agents and the value that the agents are getting and the benefit that they're getting for sponsoring agents. Well, there's agents that will help with education. So there's that educational component that, hey, I'll mentor you, I'll guide you, I'll help you with your business, I'll actively be teaching you new things. There's that education component. Now there's a higher level of sponsorship, and that's in the form of resources, giving scripts, giving funnels, giving ad copies, giving in some case giving resources to the agents that they sponsor. So there's that level of sponsorship. And then there's another level of sponsorship, which is more of the done for you service, where leads are generated, where editing is done, where there's something that is done for the agents so they don't have to worry about it. Now, when you are analyzing the level of sponsorship that you are being exposed to, you have to look at it from these 4 lenses. Are you receiving nothing? Meaning, I'm going to put you down as a sponsor. I know you're going to get revenue share from me and any agents that I sponsor. I'm going to put you down, but there's nothing that you're going to give me. Well, that's one level of sponsorship. There's the education sponsorship, where they might help you and educate you and help you grow, and accountability and all that fun stuff, mentorship. Then there's the resources. Well, they'll actually give you resources that they've already figured out themselves, and they'll give you resources. Or in some cases, they'll do things for you. And when I say that the 4th one, that is uber rare. I only know really one group that does that, and that's our group, the Agent First group. Just keep in mind the sponsorship. So from our standpoint, we don't operate in the nothing, meaning whether you want to or not, you're going to receive something of value from us. So that's not even on the table for us. From the education component, we have Monday through Friday training, and getting ready very, very soon, we're going to go into a full week training, so all 7 days. But we have Monday through Friday training, and we have a library of over 20 programs that you have access to. So if you want to learn KV Core, if you want to learn how to invest in Airbnb, if you want to learn lead generation, organic and paid, Facebook, YouTube, anything, we have a library. We have a full library proprietary to us that you have access to for free. And some of these, I won't go into that example. Resources. We create custom websites for you. We give you our scripts. We give you our assets, our material, things that will actually help you grow your business. So you get access to all of that. So I am part owners in a company called Agently, which is done for you social media, which is launching your ads, which launches your ads for you, which helps you with video making, and it really condenses video making into one click. That's it. So you get access to Agently for free. So there's some resources that are only provided through our group. As long as you're part of a group, you get the benefit of it, and any of the agents that you sponsor get the benefit of it. So you don't have to recreate the wheel. We already have the wheel for you. So it'll help you to grow your business faster. And as far as the done for you services, we have done for you editing. So our team will actually do the editing for you. It will bring and integrate you into KV Core. So do a lot of the KV Core things for you. So it'll do lead generation for you. We launch your ads for you, where we actually dig into meta ads, same thing, meta ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, YouTube ads. We do that for you. So we do management of YouTube channels. We do everything for you. So we have that option there as well. And it doesn't cost you a dime. So who you join with, who sponsors you does matter. I just want to make sure that you understand that you have options. If you have any questions about sponsorship, if you have any questions about anything that we talked about, make sure that you comment down below or reach out to me. I will link down my contact